They said Filipino kids couldn't speak English. They said the accent was too thick, the grammar too flawed, the pronunciation all wrong. They laughed at the idea of Filipino students competing globally. They built entire hiring systems around this belief. But they weren't paying attention. They didn't see what was quietly happening across 7,000 islands. And what happened in 2024 left the entire world absolutely speechless. January 2024. A video went viral showing a European businessman mocking a Filipino customer service representative's accent. Millions of views, thousands of comments agreeing. The message was clear. Filipino English wasn't good enough. International job postings still said neutral accent preferred. Training programs focused on erasing Filipino speech patterns. Students grew up believing their voices needed fixing. But in a small public school classroom in Taguig, something different was happening. Maria was 16. She attended a crowded public school where classrooms had broken ceiling fans and borrowed textbooks. Her parents sold vegetables in the local market. There was no money for tutors or expensive programs, but every morning at 4:30 a.m., before her parents left for work, Maria stood in front of a cracked bathroom mirror, practicing English. She recorded herself on an old smartphone, listened back and corrected every mistake. She watched TED Talks and copied the speaker's rhythm, pausing and repeating until it felt natural. Her classmates teased her. Why are you trying to sound American? But she wasn't. She was trying to master communication itself. April 2024, the announcement came. The International Youth English Championship would be held in Singapore that November. 62 countries competing. Students from elite schools in the UK, USA, Australia, and Canada, with professional coaches and years of training. Maria's teacher, Mr. Reyes, approached her after class. I want you to compete. She laughed nervously. Sir, those are rich kids from international schools. Exactly, he said. That's why you need to go. There was one problem. The school had no budget. Her family couldn't afford it. But word spread through the community. Neighbors contributed small amounts. Local businesses donated. A crowdfunding campaign barely raised enough. Maria now had 6 months to prepare for the biggest challenge of her life. The training was brutal. 6 hours a day on top of regular schoolwork. Mr. Reyes created a military-style schedule. Impromptu speaking drills, debate practice, current events analysis, pronunciation refinement. He would throw random topics at her with 30 seconds to think and 2 minutes to speak. The ethics of artificial intelligence, climate policy in developing nations, how technology shapes democracy. She had to think fast, structure arguments clearly, deliver them confidently. Other students joined the practice sessions, becoming her audience, challenging her arguments, pushing her harder. That small classroom became a training ground for something none of them fully understood yet. Months passed. Maria's confidence grew, but doubt still whispered late at night. You're from a public school. They're from another world. November 2024, the moment arrived. The competition venue in Singapore was massive. Flags from 62 countries. Students in matching blazers with entire coaching teams. Professional, polished, intimidating. Maria arrived with Mr. Reyes and 2 parent volunteers. She wore her simple school uniform. Other competitors glanced at her with visible skepticism. The opening ceremony was overwhelming. Confident English conversations everywhere. Students casually discussing their previous competition victories. Maria felt doubt creeping back. But then she remembered every 4:30 a.m. practice, every sacrifice her community made. She wasn't just representing herself. She was carrying every Filipino student ever told they weren't good enough. Random topics assigned on stage. 60 seconds to prepare. Maria drew her topic. Should education prioritize skills or knowledge? She walked to the podium, heart pounding. 5 judges behind a long table. Silent audience. She took a breath and began. Her voice was steady, clear. She argued that education needed both, using examples from her own experience. from students in the Philippines who needed skills to survive, but knowledge to dream. When she finished, there was a pause, then polite applause. She couldn't read the judges' faces. The topic was the future of global communication. Students from American and British schools delivered perfectly polished presentations with practiced accents and rehearsed gestures. Maria took the stage. She didn't try to sound British or American. She spoke in her own voice, Filipino English, clear and proud. She talked about how English belonged to the world now, not to any single country, about Filipino healthcare workers communicating with patients globally, Filipino teachers educating students online. She made English feel alive, not as a colonial legacy, but as a bridge connecting billions. The judges leaned forward. One took rapid notes, another nodded slowly. Something was happening. Elimination round. Only the top 20 would advance to finals. Maria was paired against a student from an elite London academy who had won multiple national competitions. The topic: technology does more harm than good to young people. Maria had to argue the against position. Her opponent was sharp, delivering statistics about mental health and screen addiction with practiced confidence. But Maria did something different. She told stories. Students in remote Philippine islands accessing education through phones. Technology connecting isolated communities to opportunities. Young people using platforms to organize and solve problems. Her opponent countered with more data. Maria acknowledged the concerns but reframed. The problem isn't technology. It's how we teach young people to use it. We don't blame books for misinformation. We teach critical reading. The judges deliberated. When results were announced, Maria had advanced. Her opponent from London had not. Whispers spread through the venue. Who was this girl from the Philippines? November 18, 2024. 10 finalists remained from 300 competitors. Maria was the only one from Southeast Asia. The others, Canada, UK, USA, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, South Africa. Countries where English was the native language. The final challenge, a panel interview. 5 judges asking unpredictable questions about current events, philosophy, ethics, and personal reflection. Maria sat in the waiting room, hands shaking. The other finalists chatted casually in native English. The gap felt enormous again, but then she remembered why she came. Every sacrifice, every early morning, every person who believed in her. Her name was called. She walked into the interview room, 5 judges in a semicircle, bright lights, 1 chair in the center. The questions came fast. What's the biggest challenge facing your generation? How do you define success? Describe a time language created a barrier and how you overcame it. Maria answered honestly. No rehearsed responses, real thoughts. She talked about inequality, opportunity, resilience, about feeling inadequate and choosing to try anyway. Then came the final question. Why does language matter? Maria paused. This was the moment. She looked directly at the judges. Language matters because it's how we make ourselves visible. For too long, people like me were told our English wasn't real English, that our voices didn't count unless they sounded a certain way. But language isn't about sounding like someone else. It's about being heard. When I speak English, I'm not trying to be British or American. I'm being Filipino. And that's exactly enough. Silence. One judge put down her pen. Another leaned back. The head judge nodded slowly. November 19th, 2024. Award ceremony. The venue packed with competitors, families, coaches, media. Maria sat in the audience exhausted but proud. She had given everything. 3rd place, Toronto. 2nd place, Sydney. Then the host paused. The screen behind him displayed the winner's name before he spoke. The audience gasped. 1st place, the 2024 International Youth English Championship, Maria Santos from the Philippines. Time stopped. Maria froze. Mr. Reyes screamed. The parent volunteers burst into tears. Maria walked to the stage in a daze, legs shaking. The trophy was heavy, real, hers. The host offered her the microphone. She looked into the crowd, saw Mr. Reyes crying, saw the Filipino flag waving. This isn't just for me, this is for every Filipino student told their English wasn't good enough. You are enough. Your voice matters. The crowd erupted. Even competitors stood and applauded. Within hours, Maria's victory went viral. Philippine news covered it as breaking news. International media picked it up. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera reported the story. Social media exploded. Her speech was shared millions of times. Filipinos worldwide expressed pride, inspiration, validation. But the real shock came next. December 2024. The International English Language Testing Association released their annual report. For the first time ever, the Philippines ranked top 5 globally for English proficiency, surpassing several native English-speaking nations. Companies that dismissed Filipino English for decades suddenly took notice. Major corporations released statements acknowledging bias and committing to accent-inclusive hiring. January 2025. Oxford University officially recognized Filipino English as a legitimate variety of the language, alongside American, British, and Australian English. The academic conclusion: the notion that native speaker English is superior is linguistically unfounded and culturally outdated. The world was forced to confront its prejudice. February 2025. Maria returned home. Her community held a parade. Her school created an English excellence program based on her methods. But the ripple went further. Filipino students began winning international competitions in debate, public speaking, creative writing. March 2025. The Philippine Department of Education launched Our English, Our Voice, celebrating Filipino English rather than erasing it. International universities actively recruited Filipino students. Scholarship offers flooded in. April 2025. Global companies that once required neutral accents began featuring Filipino employees in campaigns, celebrating diverse English speakers. Maria traveled to rural schools conducting free workshops. You don't need expensive tutors. You need to believe in your voice. They said Filipino kids couldn't speak English. They built careers on that assumption. They created policies around that belief. But they were wrong, not because Filipino English suddenly became acceptable, because it had always been valid.